Let me ask you, after what happened in Nevada and Sanders' response to it about what's going on that's wrong with the system, in his opinion, have you spoken to him?
Senator Reid has spoken to him. I have not spoken to him because
Is that a mistake?
think... No, it's not a mistake because we don't need to pile on. A conversation was had, and that what I thought was appropriate. What we need to make sure that happens going forward, everyone involved, Democratic leaders are working hard to make sure that we can prepare for the general election, that we can get through our primary nominating contest, and it's incumbent upon everyone involved in that process to make sure that when there is a concern over the process, that however legitimate you think your concern is, that you respond to that concern with civility and in an orderly way, and that in no way is it ever acceptable to condone or to ignore violence and intimidation against officials with whom you're frustrated.
The Sanders campaign says, and also said here on New Day, they don't obviously condone any type of violence or threatening behavior, that was wrong. They say the senator himself said the same thing. And that they don't understand why you said that his response was unacceptable. They say what's unacceptable is having Harry Reid call them, and they say basically tell them to settle down, that it was an intimidating tactic.
Well, when with all due respect, when there is a but in between condemnation of violence generally, and after the word but, you go on to seemingly justify the reason that the violence and intimidation has occurred, then that falls short of making sure that going forward, this kind of conduct doesn't occur in the future.
How they responded to the problem is condemned. That there was a problem is not condemned. That's the Sanders point. They're saying that there was a problem in Nevada, that wasn't run the right way. Yes, it was only about 2 delegates, but that the system wasn't as open as it shouldn't have been. It seemed exacting in extreme against the Sanders people. And their reaction was wrong also, but there was also a problem to begin with.
No, I was not on the ground, so I am speaking from having spoken to our Democratic Party officials. We have a process set up that is eminently fair, and it is not responsible every time a fair process that follows rules we've had in place for many years, the same rules that resulted in Barack Obama's nomination, and frankly, we had a credentials committee that establishes those rules at the Nevada Democratic Party that was evenly split between Sanders supporters and Clinton supporters. But regardless, Chris, it is critical that we as candidates, we as Democratic Party leaders, everyone involved needs to make sure that we can take all the steps that we need to ensure that the process not only runs smoothly, but that the response from the supporters of both candidates is appropriate and civil.